I like a guest that needs no introduction, and he's here. Joe Wicks, hello. Hey.
Good morning, how you doing?
I'm very well. Feel good in 15. These are 50. Now, it's 15 minutes, and it's not just cooking.
Yeah, so obviously in the past I've done sort of cookbooks and I've done fitness and cookbooks. So this is really a combination of three things, right? So firstly, the 15-minute recipes, which we love, quick, simple food. 15-minute workouts, so HIIT routines, strength routines, mobility stuff. And then the new kind of content that I really kind of introduce is the sort of health hacks and sort of lifestyle tips to help you find that 15 minutes to do one thing positive.
Yeah, and presumably this has happened because of all the change in your own life.
Yeah, I mean, obviously now I've got 3 kids, it's getting harder to find time. Sleep's difficult, so I talk a lot about the importance of sleep, getting a sleep routine, and also little things with a family, like activities that don't involve a screen or a device, getting outside in nature.
Yeah.
These things might not transform your body physically, but mentally it's good for you, it's good for the kids. So it's little tips and hacks that I've learned along the way that can really help you feel good.
And I suppose for you, what must be difficult is because your work is kind of health and fitness and all of these things. How do you switch off? Because you're telling us to do these things, but when you do them, it's kind of you're at work.
Yeah. And I always say sometimes if I'm filming a workout for YouTube or my fitness app, I still have to sort of then put the camera down and go and do my own workout for me. Do you know what I mean? I'm not performing, not sort of doing and people say, well, haven't you done enough already? But it's sort of like my way of just getting a bit of stress and de-stressing from my life as the body coach. But yeah, I've still got things like, going in the, you might think I'm mad, but I like going in the cold shower, the ice baths.
I saw the picture.
I've started doing things like just going for walks in nature, just slowing my brain down a bit, because with the phone comes the stress and the media, and it's constant, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get activities that really step away from the phone, leave that in another room or go downstairs, and like little bedtime routine where you don't take your phone in the bedroom, because that's the thing, right? It's so disruptive to our sleep.
Yep. Yeah.
So I've got this nice little Lumi alarm clock where it lights up and tweets like a bird in the morning, and so I wake up from that as opposed to my phone where I pick it up, bang, straight on Instagram. Yeah. That's an important change. Like, it's changed my life. It's helped me sleep, and I'm not so anxious when I wake up straight away. But
also, it's difficult for you, I guess, because that's a lot of your job is engaging with people on social media and stuff.
Yeah, it's it's what I spend most of my time doing. So my brother Nicky is the CEO of the company. He does all the kind of development of the app and managing and hiring people. But for me personally, all I do is film workouts and recipes and engage and inspire and motivate. And so I still do a lot of DMs. I do a lot of voice notes and things, and I have to stay in touch with that, because if I detach from that, then it kind of, you forget the impact and you just think it's just numbers on the screen, it's just YouTube views and it's subscribers and stuff. So I really am in touch with my audience and still love that human connection between people.
Yeah. And these recipes, I mean, they look delicious, but how old's your eldest kid now?
So I've got a 5, a 3 and a 1-year-old. So
can you get a 5-year-old to eat the food in this book?
Yeah, I've got all my kids. I think one of the greatest skills we can teach our children is to fall in love with exercise and to fall in love with cooking, and just bring them into that a little bit. Even if it's the most basic things, like you're making porridge and they put on their peanut butter or berries at the end, that's involved, get them involved. And so I get the kids involved with the cooking, and I think because of that they're quite adventurous with food. But yeah, there's some things that, if there's a bit of chilli, you might remove the chilli in certain things. But I think food needs to be quick, and it needs to be able to sort of batch cook. So if you're someone who leaves the house and you're out all day long, you are going to rely on convenience food or ultra processed foods. Whereas if you've got a nice little lunchbox or a bit of leftover bolognese or something, whack it in the microwave at work, and you're kind of giving yourself that chance to stay lean, feel good and feel energized. So it's little hacks like that, little kind of tips.
Yeah, because when you're sending your 5-year-old off, presumably you do school lunches and things for him.
Yeah, so we do packed lunches and things. So I'm always trying to think, what can I do other than sandwich? What can I do that's different? And so the best thing was I got a little thermos flask, like an old school thermos flask. I heat it up with a little bit of hot water so it stays nice and warm, and I'll throw in things like a little bit of soup. I throw in stir fries. I throw in little curries and things. So he eats that at nursery and he loves it. So there's ways of giving your kids healthy foods that isn't necessarily a cold sandwich, and it's nice to try now and again.
Actually, the other parents will be going, Joe Wicks, look what he's done. He's curry in a flask now, look.
The key is to start them young. It's just listen, my kids, people ask, why do your kids eat so well? And it's like, there's no choice. There's one meal, that's it. There's one meal we eat together and that's it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like more parenting should be, that's it. That's it. There isn't a choice. The things where people talk about, my children, they don't want to move or something. They're children. Put them in where they're going. That's where they're going. Yeah. Well done, you, Joe Wicks. Yeah, that is the one dinner. And were you saying this is your 12th cookbook now?
Yeah, which is mad to say, because I started out obviously in 2015 on Instagram, throwing food in the microwave and throwing it in the pan, you know, bish bash bosh, and that's lean in 15, and had no vision of ever having a cookbook. So obviously when I got the book, I was like, I'll give it a go, you know, see how it goes, and here I am 12 books later. It's mad.
Well, but what's incredible, I think with Lean 15, it's the second highest selling cookbook of all time.
Yeah, I can't believe it. So Jamie Oliver, obviously, he's the king. He's the GOAT. He's obviously got but I wasn't far behind, and I always think, yeah, look, it was just the right idea at the right time. I think people needed that little bit of inspiration. I use technology and social media, but, you know, it's harder to get through to people now. I think people are cooking less than ever. I think you've really got to inspire people to get back in the kitchen and enjoy it again.
Now, funny, I just had Jamie Oliver on the chat show, and he was saying that the data from supermarkets is that people are cooking less and less.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's a trend because of because of life and stress and pressure we're under, and then obviously the way we move so quick, and then you throw in technology where food can get delivered to your door in seconds. You know, it is, and its convenience will always win, won't it? So we have to kind of, it's okay to rely on those things now and again, but you've got to try your best to go back to basics. You know, getting in the kitchen, whole ingredients, you know, batch cooking a nice big bolognese or a chili, and, you know, you come in the next day and it's there. All you got to do is throw a bag of rice in the microwave, and you've got another meal. So it's not like every day you got to be in the kitchen for hours and hours.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes setting yourself up on, say, a Sunday and just doing a couple of days lunch or a few bowls of overnight oats, you know, that's great, and you're going to feel better for it. You're going to feel good in the inside.
Oh, those Bircher oats in there, the gorgeous, the brulee.
With the brulee, yes. Yeah. You sort of grill some citrus fruits, and it becomes like a sort of brulee with citrusy fruits on top. Yeah, so like I love oats and eggs, quick things, because imagine I've got 3 kids and they're all pulling at my feet. They're trying to get, you know, I've got to get out the door to get them to nursery and stuff. And so I think the quicker the food can be, the more realistic it's going to be. And that's what I've made these recipes like super. Like when I say 15 minutes, it's not like 20 minutes or 25. Like it really is 15 minutes. And I think that's a good promise, really.
And when you started doing the recipes on you know, Instagram and YouTube and stuff, like what else were you doing? Like how were you making a living?
So that was when I was living in a flat in Surbiton above a KFC with my girlfriend at the time, and I was running a boot camp. So, you know, I was a personal trainer. I was doing classes. Groups of 10 or 20 people would come, 10 a class, or I'd do personal training, which is like, you know, 40 quid an hour, and I loved it. I worked at people's houses, I worked in the parks, so I was quite independent in that sense. But when Instagram came along with these videos, I thought, well, it's a 15-second video. It's all you could have in the first time. You know, you couldn't do longer videos. So 15-second video, 15-minute recipe, and I called it Lean in 15. And I just shouted it one day, bosh! And that right there is Lean in 15. And that became this thing that sort of people picked up on, and students are sort of cooking up. I really am proud that I've got a lot of people that probably never cooked cooking, and that was my entry to food, because I was self-taught. I was just learning as I went along, sort of thing.
But that is nuts. And also, I love that, you know, you had this huge success with the cookbooks. So you must have thought, I'm as successful as I could ever be. And then along came lockdown, and that must have just changed your life again.
It definitely took things to another level, because obviously before, if you'd followed me on Instagram, you might have heard of me and done a few of the workouts. And there was a little bit of a buzz around sort of the recipes. But in terms of the fitness stuff, that was my YouTube channel was relatively small. But that day, you know, lockdown kicked in, I went live. I had 900,000 live connections, so a lot of people, because what happened was schools had sort of said, look, this is going to be our PE for the day. We know Joe, we trust him. You know, it was 10 years of, trust building. So when I went live, you know, it was like every day for 18 weeks, and teachers and schools were saying, guys, this is your PE lesson. Like, you've got to stay fit. And everyone sort of got involved for those weeks, you know.
And then, so you're getting, you know, more famous. But in lockdown, what was it like for you when lockdown ended and you actually left your house and you realised, oh wow, this is very different now?
Well, for the first time ever, because I'd never been like in the media in a sense, like, you know, being followed by paps. But there was one day where I went outside with my little girl Indy, like just to go to the shops, you know, your hour a day or whatever. And someone, like, you know, papped a photo of me, and I'm in like my socks and flip flops. I'm in like a right state, and it was the first time I felt, wow, like there's people like trying to catch photos of us and stuff. So yeah, it was a bit weird, but it was literally a 2-week moment in time, and it's completely like that's past. And I live a very nice, you know, relaxed, quiet life out in Surrey with the kids, and I'm not in that kind of bubble. It was a moment in time, and now I'm not that interesting. So I'm like getting on with my YouTube and my app, and that's it.
Yeah. And how much pressure do you have personally to kind of like to look? You know, because you can't take, you know, a couple of weeks off or anything, can you? You've got to keep at it. Yeah,
I'm in that predicament now. I've actually got like a slight tear in my rotator cuff muscle, so like my shoulder doesn't feel quite right. I'm trying to rest that, and, you know, I've got to be in shape because I've got to be inspiring and motivating. So I always say, if I'm not living by the principles of that book, if I'm not sleeping well, if I'm not eating well and exercising, I'm not the body coach. I don't wake up motivating and inspiring. So I've really got to live that life to be kind of encouraging other people to do the same. So I think having a break is difficult. But again, I have a couple of weeks here and there where I just say, look, no social media, no content, and when I come back, I'm re-energized for it again.
Yeah. Well, listen, 15 minutes, it's totally achievable. 15 feel good in 15 minutes. Recipes, workouts, and health hacks. Joe Wicks, thank you so much for coming in to see us.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations on all your success. Long may it continue.